guilt that there's pressure that your parents have put on you.
Parents or society?
Parents.
No. How have we put the pressure on you? To be a good person?
It's not even that.
No. In my opinion.
So that's what I'm talking about.
Let's finish this thought. Come on.
No. All right. Hello, babies. Welcome back to another episode of the Bayleigh Daily Podcast. Today's episode is going to be with my lovely mother, Robin Terrell. Michael.
Really?
Dayton.
No, just call me Queen. Just call me
Queen
Queen.
Dayton. Welcome to the podcast,
Well,
Mom.
thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Today's episode is going to be all about navigating relationships with your mother or your parents as you begin to grow. Especially for me, I guess I started a family already. Mm-hmm. I'm in a marriage already.
You are.
I feel like our relationship has evolved through, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and now
Yes.
I'm grown.
You are.
So I have a lot of people that DM me on social media and they ask, how has the transition in your relationship with your mother gone? Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
why do they want to know that?
Because they're struggling too.
Oh,
Moms are not easy.
Okay, I didn't know. That's why I'm asking.
Because they nosy. Y'all nosy. But I've had people like, hey, I'm setting boundaries for my mom, now that I'm a mom or now that I'm married, and it's been a real struggle for us. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I feel like in our relationship, you didn't have 3 daughters, girl, and I'm exhausted for you. But I feel like my sisters had issues with you in their teenage years, and me and you were fine. Mm-hmm. And then when I got to adulthood, it kind of flipped. They are mom's an angel, and then we had some issues, and then now I feel like we're in a good place, and I feel like it's safe to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
What do you think?
What do you consider safe?
We're not gonna fight after this podcast?
We don't fight. What are you talking about? You mean have strong disagreements?
No.
When you say fight, that's physical to me. So we don't fight.
My mom's from the hood. If you guys didn't know that.
Yeah. You say fight, that means
I don't fight anyone,
yeah,
ma'am.
You're throwing fists.
No.
Okay.
I mean arguments.
Strong disagreements.
Strong disagreements. Mm-hmm. We don't have as strong disagreements at this part of our relationship, and I want to kind of walk through that and navigate that part of our relationship for other people. Mm-hmm. So let's take it back.
I think we don't have strong disagreements because I have learned to just fall back.
Period.
But
also, pause.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, strong mothers, this is my strong mother, when you put boundaries up, she's like, I've learned to fall back. And to me, I hear that and I say, I put boundaries up for my mom and she respected them. That is hard for a lot of mothers to do. So let's go back.
It wasn't easy.
No, I know, I was there. It wasn't easy, it wasn't fun.
No.
But you did learn, hey, if I want to be in this capacity in my daughter's life, these are boundaries that she has for whatever reason. You might think they're crazy, but you respected them.
Let me share this. As a mother, and you're a new mother, and you're getting ready to be mother to a second child, there are different positions that you take as being a mother. First, you are the caregiver. You're the caregiver. So your whole life, you are caring for your child. Mm-hmm. Then your child gets a little older, and then you become their advisor because now they're in college or now they're, in semi-adult life, and they just need your advice. And then you become their friend. Mm-hmm. But there's a thin line between being their advisor and their friend. I remember this time last year when we were in Puerto Rico, you said to me, and it was an eye-opening comment. You said, so now you want to be my friend? All my life you said to me, I'm not your friend.
Yeah, I'm not one of your little friends.
I'm not one of your little friends. And that, that to me pivoted our relationship because I said, yeah, I do want you to be my friend. And you said, well, why didn't you tell me that? I mean, how was I supposed to know? So in other words, as a child, like Bayleigh, I'm not going to say all children, I'm just going to refer to you because you were a different type of child. To navigate. You were different. And so to you, it was like, draw the line. Either we're friends or we're not friends. Yeah. And when you made that comment, I said, yeah, I do want to be your friend. So that took, in my mind, that took our relationship to a whole different position of now I'm not your caretaker.
Yeah.
I'm not your advisor. I'm your friend. Yeah. So as a friend, sometimes I have to say, do you want me to just listen to you as a friend or do you want a mother's advice or a mother's opinion? Because I'm always ready to give in my opinion.
Yeah. And she is.
Yes,
This is what I'm saying. This is a mature conversation between us because for a while our conversations went, I call my mom because I'm like, I need somebody to talk to. I need somebody to vent. I just want to talk. and she's jumping in. My mom and my husband are very much the same person. They're solution based.
Yes.
So I'm calling her like, girl, can you believe this happened? Well, here's what you need to do.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
I didn't ask
Yes.
you what I needed to do. And it's not that you don't have good solutions. It's not that I don't want the advice. It's just I am in a moment where I just want to process my thoughts right now. Yes. And it would always be like, well, or you would be like, well, girl, I done told you what to do. So what you want me to do? Yeah. And I'm like.
Because my personality, a lot like Swag, is black and white.
Yeah.
It's just black and white. There's no gray for me. So all this talking and chitter-chatter is ridiculous. What's the problem? Here's the solution. Let's move forward. So I had to learn that that was not Bayleigh's love language, or that's not what made her feel safe in having a relationship with me. And so I had to make some adjustments. Now, was that difficult for me? Yes, it was, because I am just a solution based, you know.
Right.
Here's the issue. Here's the solution. Go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you because she's also stubborn. She's also very dominant.
I'm not stubborn at all.
This is my opinion of you.
Okay. All right.
She is. She's like, in my opinion, very Scorpio. You know, for those that know what that means, it's like she likes how she does things. She likes her personality. She likes her way of getting through and processing. Okay.
Question: doesn't everyone like?
No,
they don't.
No,
people don't like who they are.
No,
I didn't know that.
Or people question themselves, or if somebody has advice for them, like, swear to God, like y'all, growing up, my mom's favorite thing was, I love Robin Dayton.
I do.
Because who else is gonna love Robin Dayton?
I do.
That's just not a normal thing to say.
It's not?
I know. No, I know that you love yourself.
I really didn't know that wasn't.
So
normal.
having her take advice from me and having her change her way of operations was a difficult thing, and I'm proud of her for doing that, because sometimes it's like you can't teach old dogs new tricks, and I feel like, you know. I didn't say nothing crazy, but I'm just saying. Old dogs.
I ain't an old dog.
You're older than me. So by the time I'm 30 now. Mm-hmm. You're my mom. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say your age.
I don't mind. I look amazing for my age.
Anyways, you do.
Yeah, I do.
You do. But I'm just saying, you changing your habits when you've been doing them for so long,
correct,
in order to accommodate me,
yes,
is a very, like, that to me is something that I'm grateful for.
Yes. And it was totally to accommodate you.
No, I know.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't have done it otherwise.
Absolutely not.
My question to you is, give some advice to the moms out there that are struggling to relinquish control, because like I said, the DMs that I get are either mothers or mother-in-laws. I've set boundaries concerning my new family, or like, me and Swag did a podcast, that was like, oh, our family now is our nuclear family.
Yes.
We're always going to be a part of your family, but it's not our nuclear family anymore.
That's right.
And people have a problem establishing those boundaries. So what do you say to the moms that can't let their children go, or can't mind their business?
Yeah.
You know, or separate, or like you said, coming in and out when they are asked. How do you give them advice? You know?
Well, one of the things I want to go back to, this was many, many years ago when Swag first came into the family and he and Bayleigh were newly married. He said to me, Mom, you have set your dynasty, Dayton dynasty. He said, we're going to set our own dynasty, William dynasty.
Cute.
And I remember when he said that, and I respected that, because I like dialogue, and I respected that. But I had to digest that, because it was just like, what do you mean? Dayton dynasty is the dynasty. And he was like, no, we're going to set up our own dynasty, William dynasty, you know. And so initially, I was taken back by that, because I didn't expect that. But then after I thought about that, then I began to process. I'm not really a processor, I just do. I began to process what that really looked like and meant. And there were some struggles for me. My husband is very quiet. He's very laid back. He shuts the door. He gives me instruction, and then I am the one that has to execute it. And it's opposite for Bayleigh and Chris. He executes it. So oftentimes Chris and I, although we're very similar, sometimes it was a challenge for me because he has such a strong personality. And then I realized that he loves my daughter. He loves her. All of her shenanigans, and there are some shenanigans, but he loves her, and his whole job and his whole goal in life was to protect her and to care for her. And that's the position of a mother and a father. But a mother, we're the nurturer. We carry that child in our womb, just like you're carrying your baby in our womb, and our whole goal in life is to protect our child. And so when someone else comes in and they want to take over, for lack of a better word, or just pivot and create their own space, it's challenging as a mother who's been a caretaker. for 9 months at first, and then eventually, as the child grows up, the father is usually the provider and the mother is usually the one that cares for the child in the home. So that was challenging for me. And I bucked it. Because initially, Bayleigh is our baby, and so she was the creme de la creme to us in our entire family. Not just me, her sisters, her father. She was for the lack of a better word, she was our chosen one. And so when Swag came in, and he came in like baby, he came in like a East Coast
bat out of hell
baby. He came in like an East Coast brother, meaning that I got this. It was hard for us. It was hard for us to relinquish. And if you want a relationship with your child, you're going to have to learn to fall back. How difficult as that may seem, and it's going to take a little dialogue. You're going to have some conversations. You're going to have some strong conversations. Bayleigh and I have gone periods of times where we didn't even talk, and it wasn't.
It was like 2 weeks.
Well, that was long for me. I'm a mother.
Okay.
I talk to my daughters every day, so 2 weeks was a long time for me.
Okay.
But what it did was, it allowed us to process, step back and process, and hear one another. Because oftentimes when she would talk, like I said, while she's talking, I'm solving the problem, and it didn't give us an opportunity to process. So I'm learning to process. It's been challenging, and don't be so hard on yourself, mothers, if you don't get it right the first time. Just keep trying. Keep the dialogue open as much as you can, and learn to listen and not talk at one another. That's really important. And if you have to fall back for a little bit just to give yourself some space, it's okay to do that too.
Yeah, I think the main thing, and this is from the daughter's perspective, is the vulnerability and like you said, the dialogue of, I'm trying to understand. Like when you voice to me and you say, I'm trying to understand, I'm not perfect. I can't, it gives me like that shield, because in our heads growing up, our mothers are perfect, because y'all don't ever, and this is just my opinion of how you didn't raise us to see your weaknesses ever. So we grow up thinking our mother is just,
my weakness was my children.
Right.
So how could I show you all weakness and still raise you?
No offense. You have other weaknesses.
My main weakness were my children.
True. But growing up, we realize like our parents are not perfect. But when we're younger, we think y'all know everything. We come to y'all for like, you are perfect to us. So when we grow up and we're like, oh, my mom doesn't know everything. She doesn't know how to navigate this. This is her first human experience as well. She's trying to figure it out. She's only, been a parent one time in her life, so it allows me to give you more grace, and it allows me to humanize you. Whereas before, I didn't have you you weren't a human in my head,
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I wasn't able. You're like, why are you so mean to me? Why don't you give me grace? And I'm like, it didn't register to me, because I'm like, what do you need grace for? Why would you should already know this. Why do you not read my mind? Because growing up, you anticipated all my needs. A mom does everything before you even think of it. So then when you are an adult and you're like, why doesn't she know what I need? It's frustrating.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense.
I think we had to like humanize each other. Of like, I'm not your perfect little chosen child. I make mistakes. You're not my, I think you're great, but you're not a perfect, human being. So how do we come together and decide, what kind of relationship we want?
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
So I think we've done a good job at that. And I think for those of you out there that are struggling with your mom, sisters, mother-in-law, whoever it is in your life, where you guys haven't come to this threshold where you understand each other, and maybe there's like this standstill of like, they don't get it. You guys really just need to stop, humanize each other, and really say, we love each other. So let's work through it. I don't want a situation ever where, you're not in my life. Or, even 2 weeks. I don't want a situation where we go 2 weeks without talking, or we're mad at each other. So in order to do that, we have to have a compassion for each other to where we just communicate over all else.
Yes. And I think another thing too, when you're having strong conversations or conversations are difficult, it's okay to say, hey, Bayleigh, I'll talk to you later. Or, hey, Mom, can we talk about this at another time? Because just because I'm ready to deal with it doesn't mean that your child is ready to deal with it. So you have to come to terms when you're both hearing, that's important, and ready to deal with whatever the situation is at hand.
Okay, so let's talk about how fake our parents are, because growing up, they did not treat us the same way that they treat our children. And I experienced this firsthand when my daughter was born. All of a sudden, I've seen a softer side of my mother than I've ever seen in my whole 30 years of living. What does the love of a grandchild do for you?
Well, for me, it's something that, well, I'm not going to say I always yearned for it, but as I got a little older, I yearned, to be a grandmother because I wanted to show that softer side. No longer was I going to have to resolve life issues. No longer was I going to have to raise. I could just be the gentle side. And so for me, it was challenging because I became a grandmother, but it was so far away. So, of course, when I get an opportunity to spend time with my grandbaby, I'm not trying to teach her life lessons. Okay. I just want to love on her as much as I can. And that's going to be my position with Baby Swag. I'm just going to love on them as much as I can while I'm here, because they don't live in my home, and they don't live in my town. And so it's a little different. If they lived in my home, then it would be, don't touch that, leave that alone. But now they can do whatever they want to do because they're in their parents' home.
When parents say to their kids, I can't wait till you have kids because this is going to be your payback child.
First of all,
why do y'all do that? Because that's like evil.
First of all, my mother said to me, and it was a beautiful thing. She said, Terrell, go figure, Terrell, when you become a parent, if your children are anything like you, you're going to have an amazing experience.
That's not what you said to me, though.
I'm telling you. Can I finish the thought? Okay. Or do you want to finish the thought? Who's finishing the thought here?
I want you to answer the question.
Well, I'm finishing the thought, and this is my process. Anyway, she said to me, you're going to have, see, I done forgot what I was going to say.
Terrell,
answer me the question.
No. She said, Terrell, if your kids are anything like you're going to have an amazing experience.
Exactly. You're going to have an amazing experience. And so my thing is, when I say to my children, if your kids are anything like you, it's going to be great.
That is a lie.
It's not a lie. Laura's not great? She's just like her
That's
mom.
not what I asked you.
Well, ask me the question.
I asked the question. Why do y'all say things? I can't wait for you to have your payback child.
I've never said payback. Never.
Robin, Terrell.
I've never said payback.
I'm not going to let you get on.
What I have said is,
I'm not going to reap
what you sow. Now, I have said that.
No. That's fine. That's different. We not going to get on this podcast here and lie. We going to get on this podcast.
I don't even talk like that.
Stop.
Payback kid?
Stop. You said, I can't wait for you to have kids because it's going to be your payback child.
I don't even talk like that.
Why do you have selective memory when it comes to things that are traumatizing?
Girl,
I want to know. Traumatizing, because a lot of the times.
So if you had a payback kid, meaning a kid like you, that would have been traumatizing for you?
From your perspective. That's why I was always offended by you saying that. Because I'm like, if I have a kid like me, ain't no problem. Because she's going to be lit.
And Laura is.
Agreed. But I'm just saying, when you were saying that when I had an attitude or whenever I was doing something crazy, and you're like, I can't wait till you have kids so they can pay you back. That's not nice.
I don't recall saying that.
Okay, well, on that note, going again, when parents say traumatizing things to their children, then later as an adult, you finally
stop me. Because I have a thought too. Okay, now, if I don't say the thought, then I'm going to forget it. Go ahead. I forgot it. I really did forget it.
Listen, I'm trying to get a thought out. When parents say mean things to their kids, right?
That's what I want to say. Who determines if it's mean? It's just a comment.
If it's hurtful to me.
How do you know it's hurtful?
Because my feelings are hurt.
How do I know that if I'm just making a comment?
Your child will tell you.
Did you?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. So if I say to you, hey, Mom, you said this really hurtful thing to me, right? Mm-hmm. I'm now 30, thinking back on my childhood, and I say, it was so traumatizing. You did this to me. And then you say, I don't remember that, or that didn't happen.
Well, I didn't say it didn't happen. I said I don't remember. So
right.
That's different.
But that completely.
Well, I don't remember. You're going to make me remember.
Right. But either way, whether you remember it or not, doesn't mean that it didn't happen. You always are like, that didn't happen. I don't remember that.
No.
And I'm like.
So if I say I don't remember, should I say, I don't remember that? But if that happened, Bayleigh.
I'm so sorry.
I am so sorry.
Yes.
Hold on. I don't remember that. But if that happened, Bayleigh, I'm so sorry for 30 years of things that I could have said and done that traumatized you.
Thank you.
No, I need you to receive it.
I was saying thank you. I was just saying, thank you so much.
But do you receive it from in your heart?
Can I?
You do me the same way. Me?
Where do you think I get it from?
So, see?
I'm getting hot because you're getting me hot.
I have a
I'm saying, yeah, thank you so much for saying that. It shouldn't have taken 30 years in a podcast. Okay. But...
So I've never said that before?
No, you always say, That is not how that went, girl. I did not say that. I don't remember it.
So I've never apologized for you anything that you said that you felt like I said to you in your whole life. In your whole life, I've never apologized.
I'm talking about in these kind of situations. If you remember it, then you apologize. But if you don't remember it,
it's hard to
you
apologize for something you don't
exactly.
remember.
You're like, that didn't happen, girl. And
I
I'm sitting here
don't say that
traumatized.
didn't happen. I'll say,
I don't remember
I
it.
don't remember. That's not
Or
saying
you're
it
saying-
doesn't happen. It's saying I personally don't remember that. It's not saying that it did not happen. It's saying I don't remember that.
I'm telling you, you say that didn't happen
Oh,
as well. So no accountability for
I
that?
just apologize. You only hold on.
No.
No. I want to apologize for a second, for probably about the 55th time. I want to apologize for anything that I said and done for your 30 years of life that made you feel inadequate, made you feel any kind of way other than bubbly. Forgive me.
Thanks, Mom.
Okay. Yeah.
What happens as far as expectations go? So this is completely left field, but I feel like as a mom, you had expectations for your daughters growing up. Like there's a lot of thoughts in my mind, or a lot of like, this is what I should be doing, and this is how my life should go, and I should be married by this age, and da-da-da-da-da. I inherit most of those from like you. So what happens as we get older and we either meet those expectations or we don't meet those expectations?
As far as raising children or just life? What do you?
Both. Like, as far as raising children, are you disappointed that our lives didn't go the way that you planned them to go? Or are you like, how does that work? Because you have like expectations for your children, you know, and I guess now your grandchildren. Are you just like, why are we putting those expectations on them?
I don't have any expectations for my grandchildren other than just to love me.
Yeah.
I don't have any expectations. Those are things that parents do.
Right.
They put the expectations on their children one way or the other. The only expectation I have for my grandbabies, I would love for them to love God. That would be, the first thing that would be most important to me. And then after loving their parents, love their grandparents.
Okay.
Yeah, those are really my only expectations. I know when your dad and I raised you all, our expectations were first that you be good people, that you love God, and that you complete college. Those were really the expectations that we had. And all of our girls did those things. And so after that, then the only other things we had is maybe fantasies in our mind of what we thought their next phase of life would be like. Like, for instance, you said, and it could still happen, you said at a young age, Mom, I want to marry a preacher and have 5 kids.
I did marry a preacher.
Swag, baby swag.
Preacher
I mean, not
swag.
baby, yeah.
Preacher swag over there.
Preacher swag over there. He is a preacher. He's a motivational.
That's what I'm saying.
He is.
He
So,
preaches to the masses. Girl.
baby, he does that. And 5 children. You could still have 5 children. So
Not from this hoo-ha.
well, but still, you could still be the mother of 5 kids. And so you said that, so I grabbed a hold of that. Bayleigh wants to marry a preacher and she wants to have 5 children.
I don't mean like that. And I mean like, for instance, like, okay, there's a thing going around where millennials, which is like my age and a little bit older, are like, they're in their 30s now and they're still scared to get pregnant because their parents scared the crap out of them for teen pregnancies. So they're like, I'm
30, they're not teens.
I know, Mom, listen.
Okay.
So they're like, I'm 30 years old and I'm seeing everybody get pregnant and I'm shook because I'm like, I still feel like I'm a teenager. Like, there's like fear, you know?
Well, maybe they have expectations. Maybe they want to be married.
Right, but where do they come from? Like, for me, like, for instance, I'm married. I'm pregnant. Even when I first told, like, Dad that I was pregnant at 28 years old from my husband, I was like, this is so awkward. Like, I don't know what to do. My dad's going to think I'm a whore, you know?
Your dad doesn't think you're.
I know. He said, good job.
Yeah. Good job.
He said, good job. But you feel like this, like, kind of like guilt that there's pressure that your parents have put on you. You know what I'm saying?
Parents or society? Who put the pressure on you?
Parents.
No.
Yes. That's what we're trying to tell y'all. And I feel like
we
nobody
have not.
listens.
Nobody.
Yes.
How have we put the pressure on you? To be a good person?
Mom, it's not even that. Of like, for instance, when I wanted to go to college, I wanted to go to college for like, exactly, you're really nice. Like fine arts degree or like dance or something. And you're like, you were not going to college for no fine arts degree. You gonna go to college so that you can get this kind of job and you can get this kind of man and you can get.
No. Never focus on a man. You're going to college so that you can take care of yourself. You're going to go to college and
But who says I couldn't have taken care of myself on an arts degree?
Okay.
You did.
In my opinion.
Right
in
there.
my opinion.
So that's what I'm talking about. Parents have this pressure, which they don't even understand they're putting on their children. One more thing. I gotta ask you this.
Wait, let's finish this thought. Come on.
No, I got ADD. Remember,
okay.
I got it from you.
Okay.
Listen.
No, you didn't.
Is there anything else that you would like to say?
I would like to ask you a question. How have you navigated being a new mother with your mother?
Great question. I would say it's completely changed my outlook on motherhood in general. I have had to do a lot of reflecting on what it means to be a mother. And I appreciate you in a different capacity. You mothered us very differently than the typical mom that you would see. And I think I gave you a lot of crap about that growing up because I'm like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? You know? And now that I'm a mom, I'm like, holy crap. You know, good for you for taking time for yourself. Good for you for going on mommy trips. Good for you for doing these things. But growing up, I was like, why would she have anything to do outside of us? Why is she going shopping? Why is she on an island right now when I'm, you know, so it's starting to make me be like, oh girl, you know, but I'm happy that I had that example from you. And then I also appreciate you in a different capacity because like I said, growing up, I didn't see you as an emotional or soft person at all. And now I'm starting to realize that you do have a heart. You are emotional. No, for real. Like, you know, like I'm like seeing you cry.
Oh yeah, I'm still not a crier,
but I've seen you cry more in the last few years than I've ever seen in my life. So it's starting to, like I said, it's starting to humanize you, and then it's starting to be like, okay, what kind of mom do I want to be? So it's been a very interesting experience, and the love that I have for my children, now I get it. Now I get why you were so involved. Now I get why you were so opinionated in my life because you have a genuine investment in like who I am as a person. So it's definitely helped, and I feel like it's gonna continue to bring our relationship closer, I hope. But yeah, no, I like you.
Can we be friends?
We can be friends. No, guys, and I finish it here. Last year, we had a really, like I said, rough time. A lot of people were telling me, well, you and your mom must have not gotten along when you were pregnant because Laura looked just like her. And we didn't. I don't know why, but I just was like so angry, pregnant with a girl, and just so angry that there was things that I didn't know. And I didn't, you know, so I was like probably just like hormonal towards my mom. And she asked me like a few days before giving birth, if we weren't mom and dad, would you, mom and daughter, she's like, if you weren't my daughter, would you like me? And I thought it was the most hysterical question. So I just laughed, right? Because I thought she was like joking. And she started crying. So.
And you're laughing again.
No, she started crying. And I felt really bad because I was like, oh, why do you care? You know, like you're my mom, so why does it matter? But I've really gotten to know her as a human and realize like, oh, my mom's just a girl. She's just a girl. And I get to love on you in a different light. So I'm happy about the adult transition and relationship.
Okay.
Anyways, all right, babies. That was a wild podcast, but let us know if there's anything else that you guys want to talk about. This is kind of what our talks are like at home. There's never one really topic where you just kind of jump around. But I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're doing great. Good? You're doing great. You're a great mom. You're a great grandmother.
Queenie.
You're a great queenie.
Yes. My Lord Lee.
Put it down, stamp it. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe. Love you, babies. See you next time. I did it again. Who told you that I was finished? Fresh off the plane.